Hello there, and welcome to episode 37 of Kolonization Project. We start today's episode off by launching a Leviathan, and when we start off launching Leviathan rockets, that means that we can get some nice cinematics of it rising out of the water. It also means that you can actually get some sounds in it too, because, I don't have to pause to post commentary. I can just start it off with the sound and have a nice little opening shot. I think it looks cool. This series, I sort of want to have a balance of just normal gameplay and cinematic elements, but I'm sort of failing on the latter because I don't really do cinematics. I really just do stationary and flyby camera. So that's all I know how to do in camera tools. Also, it increases editing time and cinematics look cool and all, but I do not have any qualifications to actually do cinematics because I'm not very good at it. Anyways, this will be launching. This will be the fourth and final module that we're launching up to Horizon. This module will contain fuel and four engines, and the engines are open cycle gas core engines. And they work by essentially, how liquid core and solid core engines work. This one is a gas core engine. You can probably guess what that means. It heats up the reactor so much that it turns into a gas. These are probably the most sci-fi tech we have right now. Very efficient, very dangerous. We do not want to be igniting these near Kerbin's atmosphere, but we're going to do it anyways because there's nothing on the warranty or user's manual saying we can't. So it's on them if we burn off Kerbin's atmosphere with radioactive gases. Hopefully the cities on Kerbin have radioactive shielding because they are going to probably get a nuclear winter or something. Although I'm not sure this will cause a nuclear winter. I'm not sure how that works, but it will certainly have not good effects on the climate of Kerbin because that thing is spewing out reactor products, and we don't want to be spewing out Chernobyl. So, it's essentially Chernobyl in space, but it's not quite a nuclear saltwater engine. But it's close. It's very close. Nuclear saltwater engines are far down the tech tree. I actually think they're only one tech node away. Yeah, they are. We are getting close to nuclear saltwater engines, but by that time we're going to have fusion engines too, so the use of them will be debated. And they're also pretty dangerous, as we can just melt anything on Kerbin with them. It's actually funny. One of the tech tree sort of descriptions, I was reading through them, and one of them said some people claim that nuclear power is just an expensive way of boiling water. We are proud to announce they are wrong. We can boil almost anything now. That was quite amusing. These things could probably melt anything if they came too close. If your nuclear reactor is a gas, I'm pretty sure you can melt lead. And that's not an easy task at all. Melting lead is only reserved for very, very hot things like the sun or Venus. These engines are very efficient. Of course, the hotter an engine is, the more efficient it is. So that is good, and it's why we're putting nuclear reactors into space. Otherwise, that would be an expensive waste of money. Anyways, I talked over that entire thing. So what we just did, we landed the booster, the game crashed, and then I had to hyper-edit this thing back up into orbit. So that's why relative velocity was so low, because the game crashed. I count that as legitimate cheating. Anyways, right now we're just docking the two things together. This thing is not fully fueled. We are going to need to send a pilotal module later on to refuel it, because this thing, the Leviathan, cannot lift the fully fueled module into orbit. And that's our heaviest launch vehicle. I tried designing another one, a new bigger launch vehicle, couldn't work. Yeah, we need to ship the fuel up separately. Not too much of a problem though. We should be able to do that rather easily. Anyways, we are landing the second stage. Well, we're trying to land it because I thought, why not? We have the materials, we have the fuel. We might as well try and land it, because otherwise this is going to become an expensive piece of space debris. And you know, we can take this down, fish it out of the sea with a boat, and like have it in a museum or something. Considering all the like rockets we've reused so far, I wouldn't be surprised if like we just have a rocket garden outside the KSC of a bunch of retired rockets. Because like we've had like a bunch of block 1, block 2 iterations of different rockets. I'm very confident that the Kerbal Space Center or some other museum has like a rocket garden outside of it, because we just have so many reused rockets. That would be interesting to see, just like statues of rockets. You know, it would make a good tourist attraction, bring some more money into the Kerbal Space Center, because that would be very much appreciated right now, as the Kerbal Space program is almost bankrupt. Because the last time we gained money was when like we shipped the moon rocks back to Kerbin, or Minmus rocks, if you want to be specific. So yeah, we've been just losing money ever since, and with all of our Jool missions and stuff, and all the nuclear reactors we're sending up, yeah, our money is draining extraordinarily quickly. Anyways, this is the how we're going to get fuel up there, because off camera I have been expanding the MKS Wolf infrastructure on Kerbin, and this was the result of it. This is a little hopper module that will be able to supply what's it called, Horizon with fuel, and it will do that completely automatically. We do not need to touch it. We do not need to interfere with it at any way, shape, or form, unless of course we do interfere with it. That could be bad if we take the resources from it. But yeah, this will be completely automatic refueling, which is good for both the space program and my sanity, because we can do other things in that time. We don't have to just be launching rockets every time we need to refuel it, or we won't be sending up huge rockets that will drain the space program's remaining funds. So yeah, this is pretty good. It is launching on a new rocket, a new series of rockets. Sort of looks like the Ares 1X, sort of like a small SRB first stage, and then a larger diameter cryogenic second stage, although that's not cryogenic, it's hypergolic. Oh well, same thing, just more corrosiveness and carcinogenic. This is sort of going to be like a new series of rockets that I'm going to use for launching all the MKS Wolf infrastructure, and other things for that matter. But like just the small payloads are going to be launched on these from now on, because you know, I just figured if we need a small medium launch vehicle, then why recover it? We can just make it cheaper and you know, not have it be recoverable, as recovering that SRB would probably be worth more than just throwing it away. So we're just tossing it into the ocean like an old-fashioned space program. Anyways, the MKS Wolf, the hopper module that we just sent up, isn't working, because apparently there is no fuel crossfeed in between the front of the front of Horizon and the back of Horizon, which is where we need the fuel. So we're sending up Endurance with a couple docking ports to go and fix that, so we can get Beau Kerman out, attach the new docking ports, transfer over the hopper module, and we can get fuel. Once again, Bill Kerman and Valentina Kerman are the crew members of this mission. They've really been the only ones flying into space recently, because we don't really need anyone else. We don't need... Yeah, you can hear my dogs barking once again, probably. I mean, I'm not sure if the microphone can pick that up, but you might have heard like a noise in the background. Yeah. What was I talking about? Yeah, we really need we really haven't needed anyone else because Valentina Kerman is our SSTO pilot, and then Bill Kerman is our lead engineer. So we don't really need... I'm not sure where they're barking at. I should probably go check, but I'm recording a video right now. It's rather distracting. Anyways, this... I think it's done now. I think it's done. I'm not doing this in more than one take because I've done this way too many times before. Like I've done this recording of this episode like 6 different times. None of them have succeeded. And I'm not doing this again. So whatever you hear in this post commentary is what's coming out in the final video. Although if you're hearing it, it is the final video. So yeah, anything you're hearing is in one take because, yeah, I really can't be bothered to do this in 2. Anyways, what was I talking about before? So, yeah, Bill Kerman and Valentina Kerman have been really the only ones flying into space recently because all we've been doing is constructing Horizon, and all that needs like maintenance and stuff, and that can be provided with a trusty little SSTO and an engineer and a pilot to pilot the SSTO, and that can be provided by the Endurance, Bill, and Valentina. Name a better trio. I mean that's kind of obvious. Bill, Jebediah, and Bob. But, you know, we don't really need 2 docking ports. I just put it on for symmetry, although I could have just attached it to the core section of the Endurance, although I figured we might as well need it in case one of them just like just explodes or something. You know, so it's good to have a backup. We don't really want a thing to fail and everything just doesn't go well. Anyways, you know, like yeah, we just attached a docking port, and then after disassembling a couple parts that we don't need anymore, because I do believe this is Bill the Kerbal's first time seeing Horizon, because we haven't disassembled any of the redundant parts but before. Anyways, even if it's not their first time, it's the first time seeing it in all of its the whole thing in one piece. I mean, you know, they might have seen it on the ground or something, like a mock-up of it, but that's not the one that's taking them out to Jool. This is the one that's, I mean, you'll see the crew members in the next episode, but we are taking the 4 veteran Kerbals and a couple other crew members just for, because we need more scientists and stuff. And also because more crew members looks better for the space program, because we're not just taking 4 Kerbals out on a grand voyage across the solar system. You know, they have some other people to talk to. I mean, it wouldn't be good to just like have 4 crew members stuck in a tin can for 3 years. That wouldn't be very good for their sanity. That would probably go stir crazy. And you know, like they would get kind of tired of each other, and I don't know, maybe more Kerbals will remedy that effect a little bit. We're not using cryogenic freezers for this. I don't really like cryogenic freezers that much. They're too sci-fi for me. I do have the mod installed, but I mean, they do freeze the life support. We would need less mass, but cryogenic freezers are a bit too sci-fi for me. Like warp drives are too sci-fi. I think fusion tech is where I draw the line. No, antimatter is where I draw the line. Of course, you can have your own opinions and stuff, but that's just where I like it. I don't like completely sci-fi stuff. I just like keeping it grounded somewhat in reality. So we're not using cryogenic freezers for this mission. We're just going faster. I mean, it still works. You know, you need less life support, but you also need less fuel, but you also need less expensive technology. So, you know, it's sort of a trade-off, sort of like how it looks, you know. Sometimes functionality looks the best. Because, you know, like, if something is functional, it might not look pretty, but, you know, it has a nice aesthetic to it, you know, like, it has a functional aesthetic to it. Like, it's designed, purpose-built for function. It's not designed for form. But if that's what the case is, it could end up looking a bit better than if it was. You know, you have new fancy designs and stuff for new, even more difficult problems. And, you know, that's what basically all of our spacecraft have been. You know, I've never really designed them for form. I mean, form is one of the factors in it. But I designed them for functionality. I'm just like, how can I improve the looks of this thing? And that's how I make the crafts, because, I mean, you can argue that the Endurance isn't the best looking SSTO, and I for sure agree with you. Especially the old Endurance, I didn't like that one. But I mean, what else are you going to do when you have low tier SSTOs? You don't even have the Whiplash engine. Well, all you have is a Panther engine and some really efficient vacuum stages. But I mean, the Endurance has been like our workhorse SSTO for like how many episodes? 30 episodes. We've had the Endurance for 30 episodes at this point. We started it in episode 7. And we're on episode 37 now, so the Endurance is showing its age. Although that could be once again debated with all the modifications we've added to it. Like, if you take a look at the original Endurance and then the Endurance now, like, you can see a ton of improvements, like with the improved tank design, more efficient engines across the different iterations of it. From the Panther engines to Whiplash engines and nuclear engines. Did we use the Whiplash and cryogenic engine together? I'm not sure. Then we moved on to the Rapier and nuclear engines, and then finally we have nuclear turbojets. And I think that's going to be the final iteration of it. I mean, unless we get antimatter turbojets, which actually we can get those with KSP Interstellar. Yeah, it's probably going to be the final iteration of this. I mean, after that, the only logical choice is a warp drive SSTO. Although I'm not going to be using warp drives in this series. Fusion tech is probably the most advanced that we will go. Anyways, right now we just returned the Endurance. Thankfully, its nose cones stayed on. After like a bit of quotation marks safe re-entry attitude of procedures, and then once again we just flew past the air traffic control tower, because, you know, it might as well be tradition at this point, and we landed it, and now we are launching a brand new module on a rocket. Of course we are. So this will be the MKS Wolf infrastructure on Minmus is going to be the start of it. So this will be producing material kits, I believe. There are crew members on this, but do not worry, they will be sacrificed to the Kraken in a little while, because we do need crew members on this to have the modules work. But you're never going to see them again, so it's better not to build emotional attachments with them. So this will be producing material kits, and we need more of them because, well, we're not self-sufficient on them. I mean, we're not really self-sufficient on anything right now. Maybe we're self-sufficient on food and stuff, but all in all, we're not very self-sufficient on Minmus. So we need material kits and specialized parts to build stuff off-world. And if we build stuff off-world, then that means we don't have to launch anything from Kerbin anymore. We can just launch everything from Minmus. However, we need to construct a new base for that because Apollo base is using the just this normal MKS stuff. And that takes up a lot of performance. Apollo base is only like 200 parts thereabout, and it runs at 5 frames per second. No, I actually ran a frame analysis on it. It runs at 10 frames per second. 15 FPS if I'm having a good day. But yeah, it doesn't run very well. So what we're going to do is we're going to construct a new base on Minmus that has a sole purpose of building a much larger base, because that one's not going to be self-sufficient on much, only material kits and specialized parts. But then that base is going to construct a massive, not a base, but a colony. And this colony will be our main base of operations for everything. It will produce everything. It will store a lot of Kerbals, and it will basically be our gateway to the outer solar system, like Duna or Eve. I mean, that's the inner solar system, but you get what I'm saying. So we need those two resources in order to construct things, but we also need 2 other things. We need machinery, which is sort of an exotic material, but we can just send up a new module and a crew member and everything will be cool and good for machinery. Some more material kits, but let's just ignore that for now. So that's what that needs. And then it also needs an engineer and a workshop module, which we can just have that on the base. Anyways, right now we are landing the specialized parts module. Unfortunately, the engines on the top were occluded by the modules, but after finding out that I can just gimbal the engines and that works out perfectly, I did that. Spinning is a good trick. And yeah, it's further proved by that module right there. Anyways, in order to actually extract those resources from the sort of extractor things, we need this module right here. It's a couple hopper modules, and that will allow us to convert the little numbers into wolf thingamajig into material kits and specialized parts, which is very good, which means that we can start constructing that new base. Unfortunately, we only have 1 engineer on board, and that will take the engineer about 40 days in order to build. Although most of the crew members on Apollo base are not doing much right now, because we haven't really bothered to return them. They've been in space for like over 2 years at this point. Like I think we launched Sunset Star out to Eve when this crew was still on Apollo base. Although that was 3 years ago, so maybe not. But these crew members haven't seen their family in a long time, so maybe we should do a crew rotation. They haven't been down to Kerbin for well over a year. Their bones are probably mush by now because they don't have any artificial gravity like Sunset Star Opportunity, and yeah, they're on Minmus, which has the gravity of nothing. Like, I mean, it does have gravity. If you really want nothing, then go to Gilly. But like, I mean, eventually we'll just have Kerbals that live on other planets forever. But that's not right now. Eventually we will do a crew rotation, and eventually Apollo base will be abandoned entirely because the new base, the new colony, will have more Kerbals that will be better. It will have these giant agricultural domes with glass and trees, and it'll be pretty good, you know? Anyways, we're launching a base up to nowhere. I mean, we're launching it to Jool. It's going to pull, and because it has the lowest gravity of all the Jool moons, perfect for refueling craft out at the Julian system. Is that how you say it, Julian? Or no, I'm not sure how else you would say like Martian, like, but Jool. Not sure how you would say it. I think that's how. It's the only thing I can come up with in my head right now. So this will be a base. We're not actually going to use it that much, but because right after this I decided it's going to be better just to use MKS Wolf to perform all the refueling. So we're not actually going to use this. Waste of money, but at least we get some style points for having a base on a on pole. Anyways, this is launching on a Colossus block. I have no idea how many iterations this rocket has been through. Yes, that is its official name. First stage is improved. Everything is improved except the third stage. I can't speak once again. I can't speak in any video apparently. The third stage is unchanged. It's a good third stage. We don't need to improve perfection. Anyways, the first stage has 2 new SRBs. I think they're actually the biggest we have. All stages, except for, of course, the third, have new upgraded tanks, better grid fins, better RCS thrusters. The second stage has what does it have? It has a bit more fuel to it, because before the third stage was sort of like it was a support stage, you know. It didn't do much in the way of actually pushing the thing into orbit, but it did do a lot in helping it get to orbit. But this one does even more. It has more fuel, it has more good stuff. Unfortunately, I forgot that there was a shroud around the bottom engine, so it looks a bit weird. We're going to improve that in the future, but I mean, it's not that much of an issue. We're landing in the ocean anyway, because I thought I wouldn't want to risk the landing leg issue. Anyways, we can return back to the original mission after we have landed both of the boosters and perform a rather lengthy escape burn, because we are using the open cycle gas core engine. Jebediah is probably very unhappy that he is not the first to test it out, although there is no one on board. But you know, maybe we have like a sentient AI that controls all this, and him and Jebediah have some sort of rivalry. That sort of sounds like the Odyssey by Bill, but instead of Bill, it's Jebediah. I'm not gonna copy anyone, so let's just toss that idea in the garbage bin. Anyways, this open cycle gas core engine, yeah, it's working. However, I vastly underestimated how much heat this thing produces. When you have a nuclear engine that's a gas, nuclear reactor that's a gas, it's going to be very hot. I think I forgot about that. I think I forgot about that fact. And, yeah, we're having some problems. We have to limit the thrust so the engine doesn't overheat. You can see on the right-hand corner, yeah, the engine is getting very, very close to its critical temperature. It's glowing red hot. It's at like 95% of its critical heat. And doing these lengthy escape burns is not helping it at all. Because, you know, it doesn't have the best thrust to weight ratio, but, you know. Anyways, after we perform a quick little mid-course correction and we get it on a course to Jool, which will arrive in, once again, about a year. Everything in this mission is going to arrive in a year, which is very fast. Normally a trip to Jool out takes 3 years, thereabout. Yeah, we're going pretty fast in this mission. Anyways, I do believe that I'm not doing this too early again. Yeah, it's pretty much going to be the end of this episode, although after we do a slight little course correction here, we actually get we get a dual encounter there, which I thought was pretty neat, you know. However, that will actually be the end of this episode, so thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.